Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Shooters Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Matt at PostUp323. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. You can follow us on the socials at Shooters Lounge 3 and also follow us on YouTube or in podcast form on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. So 2016, 2026, so 2016, definitely not. But we're back, new year, and the Shooters Lounge has been back. We've had a couple of weeks off, Christmas, New Year. Just to get a bit of rest in now. But now, guys, we're going to be in. We're halfway through the season. So we will be coming back and we'll be covering the NBA all the way till the finals. So my guest tonight is, I believe it's his third stint now on the Shooters Lounge. He's becoming a regular every season. He keeps coming back. I keep asking and he is always available, which is much appreciated. We've got Dan from the Miami Heat UK. Dan, welcome back to the Shooters Lounge, dude.
Hello, Matt. And I wish it was 2016 because that's when Miami Heat used to actually win stuff and compete for stuff, but just in a pit of mediocrity now for the last.
And we're off already.
I'm very good, mate. Thank you for having me on again.
Always a pleasure, dude. Always a pleasure. Did you have a good Christmas, New Year, bro? Yeah, get some rest.
It was nice. Busy, chaotic as always is, but nice to be able to relax and spend some family time and not have to worry about Christmas Day basketball featuring my team and ruining it all. So it was good. Yeah.
Absolutely. But so now we're back. So obviously we've got Dan on, so the cat's out the bag. Who we're going to be discussing this week? We're going to be discussing the Miami Heat. So as it seems to be every time that Dan's on, Miami seems to be exactly where they are, very similar to every time you come on, Dan. We're kind of in that 7 to 10 range, 21 and 20. If you make the play-in again, are they going to name it after you, bro? That's the question.
They should have already have done it, to be honest. I mean, we are. It's the play-in tournament sponsored by the Miami Heat. It's incredible, really. To be honest, I'm not disillusioned by it. That Miami Heat are exactly where I've predicted they would be at the start of the season, and with all the Jimmy Butler saga done out of our way, everything else, I actually came into this season, despite being another mediocre team and being exactly where I predicted we are, which is bang in the middle. Yeah. I actually came in relatively optimistic that I thought, okay, all of that drama is behind them now. There seems to be a new good vibe. We're leaning a bit younger. We've got, some exciting young players. And then the season took off with us sort of evolving into this whole new exciting offense. And It was incredible. Suddenly we've gone from, since LeBron left, spending every single year in the bottom 5 in terms of pace, very slow, laborious, quite boring to watch team, focused primarily on being, a defensive team and just trying to chug out mid-90s scrappy dogged wars and, succeeding in quite occasions, to suddenly getting this nice, quick lead in the NBA in pace, exciting new offense, totally abandoned pick and roll, just totally zumping a lot of people with not knowing how to deal with it. And so November was just incredible, great fun. We'd started well, we lost a few games, but that was fine. We started pretty good, but it was just nice to watch a nice fun team. The vibes were immaculate, off the charts. The coach was, having great fun. Well, you could just see like the whole weight of the last 6 months before with the Jimmy saga was off. It was like a new dressing room. It was really, really good to watch. And then it all stopped. The league figured out the offense. We went on a real skid to then win a few, to then lose 6 in a row, and it just feels like health and availability have become an issue. But it just seems like at the moment they're right, sort of all the fun times have gone out, and it's all looking back to where we were and what we expected it to be, which was a pretty gloomy outcome. And beating some teams but losing some bad ones, blowing leads, and back to what we all know and love over the last God knows how many years.
Yeah, I mean, there was some nights you were scoring 140 points down. This is not the Miami Heat we've been used to, is it? Like you said, all these years, man.
Exactly that. I mean, you used to walk in, and to be honest, don't get me wrong, I sometimes quite like low scoring, dogged possession by possession games.
Yeah.
I think there's, I'd much rather that than watch a
Mm.
game that's 150, 145, where it's just bucket
Yeah.
for bucket. Sometimes that, that doesn't do anything for me, really. I'd much rather see a scrappy, low, mid-90s game. But
Yeah.
it was a dogfest. I mean, I've said on many a podcast and show before, I go, cool, thank God, for other teams and League Pass, because you can actually switch off to some exciting teams and actually watch quite a fun game and a talented roster and see these, stars going out rather than this, oh, good, we won 90-91 or whatever. And to suddenly be going into games where you're scoring, mid-40s several times. I think one of our reporters put out a tweet like by mid-December saying, before this season, Miami Heat had something like, I don't know what it was, but let's say it was like 140 plus games in their history, and they'd already achieved 9 that season. Shows you how this offense had rolled, and it was just so alien for someone like me who's never seen, didn't see the LeBron years and all that. I just missed out on all of that. So that was great, and it was great fun, and it was really nice to see the development and how these new players were just all there for each other and working seamlessly into this new offense. But sadly, that seems to have died down quite dramatically now.
Yeah, because you went from a team that ran pick and roll a lot to one of the highest, to one of the guys you just completely I don't know whether it was, obviously it was a conscious decision, wasn't it, to not do it, but they completely abandoned it and went this other way. That everybody thought, oh, Miami, we've pigeonholed these guys, this is what they do, to, oh no, we don't do that at all now. It completely went the other way, dude, didn't they?
Yeah, and it was so bizarre, because I remember I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks into the season, I think it was Zach Lowe that said something really, really weird going on with Miami at the moment, because I think the average pick and roll usage per game is something like 38 or 48 or something like around that number. How many times pick and rolls get used per game? Miami was averaging like 12 pick and rolls a game, and it was like, it's not even anywhere near it, as an average. And I said it's just incredibly unique. And that was part of the, it was gazumping teams, and it was so fun to watch, so fast and free flowing, and we was averaging from possession under our basket to getting a shot up inside 5 seconds most possessions and things like that. And it was brilliant. It was really good to watch. But I mean, obviously, as you'd expect, coaching, scouting, they find the way, they look through the film, they work it out. Doesn't help when about 2 or 3 weeks into the season, you had Bam Adebayo and Norman Powell go on to Amazon Prime and basically show how our new offense was working to the world. It was just like, okay, cool. I know these teams have got all of these scouts and ways of working this out, but maybe you shouldn't have sort of given them the game plan.
Just laid out for them on to the whole world. Basically,
otherwise, this is what we're doing, and this is how it works. It's like, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it was kind of one of them double takes, man. When like you look at the results from the night before, when you wake up, because obviously us being in the UK, you wake up, you see the scores. It's kind of like one of them double takes. It's like, Miami scored how many? Hang on, let me scroll back, kind of thing. It was definitely one of them the first month or so of the season, man. I assume you kind of, you're up most of the time, Dan, watching these Miami games still. Is that still the case?
Nowhere near as much. I do try still and watch as many as I can, but I mean, I just haven't got it in me anymore as I'm getting older. I used to watch literally every single game, and when you're getting 3 or 4 hours sleep a night, it became too tricky as you get older. And don't get me wrong, I still do it whenever I can, but the usage has come down, and my hourly night has gone up.
Dan's usage rate's gone down now as well. So it's tough out there, man, isn't it? You've got to.
November basketball was just a joy. It was so exciting. Obviously we was better than what I considered anyway. I thought it was going to be another struggle, but I had some positive to look into the season. But to start the season like that with that new fun offense and beating some really good teams, and I didn't mind. We'd wake up and you might have lost to a bad team, but you thought, well, it was still a fun game and you played well. You can take lots of positives. For me, that's good. I mean, we're not a contender this year, so to take those positives, that would have been great. But as I said, that swiftly sort of fun got sucked out of it.
Normal services resumed, Dan. Really, I think is.
Yes.
What do you think of the new additions then this year, Dan? Obviously, the Norman Powell trade was what happened in the summer. I think that's got to be a success story for you guys, right?
Massively. I mean, look, there's lots of things that Miami, in terms of their transactional success, are lacking in, and I'm sure we'll get into them. But
Yeah.
you know, to basically give up Kevin Love and Carl Anderson to get Norman Powell,
Yeah.
that's I mean, that's the biggest swinging hit home run you'll ever get. So
Yeah.
yeah, great upgrade, great addition. It was much needed as well, because
Mm.
without Norman Powell, you were sort of thinking, well, where is the shooting going to come from?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that
that was
offensive punch is
oh,
definitely what was needed,
100%.
mate, wasn't it? Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
and is also, you know, is settled in so well. He's one of those players that I know a lot gets made of the Heat culture and so on, and most people thrive in it, but some
Mm.
really don't get into it and fail by it. It's not for everyone at all. But he was
Mm.
one from almost day one that came in and just said, "This is a drop of me. This is what I'm all about." And
Mm.
so immediately fell into a role of not only being a player that can accommodate that culture, but also
Mm.
thrive in it and become an instant leader, because you know he's an
Yeah.
older player. So to have that
Yeah.
leadership, and the performance levels are coming from it, because he's been lights
Mm.
out.
You forget how long he's been in the league, bro. Just seeing how old he is. You're like, man, he has been in the league a while
Yeah,
now. You know, he's a good pro, isn't he? Been
great
on
pro.
some good teams.
Yep.
Was he the guy you said I thought I was fit, but then I've come to Miami and I'm not Miami Heat fit, or
Um,
something along those lines? I can't remember
yeah,
now.
I don't know if it was him. I'm trying to remember who it was. That
Yeah,
said that, but
somebody said it.
that is quite a common thing. Everyone does.
Yeah.
Might have even been Davian Mitchell, who again is someone I love, because
Yes. Yeah.
is just a complete dog in every way, and I love those
Yeah.
sort of players. And yeah, he's
Yeah.
another one that has thrived in it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so Norman is playing at an all-star level.
Mm.
I hope he gets it. I think he probably will miss out, but is been an
Mm.
exceptional trade for that
Yeah.
small giveaway. Really, it's been
Yeah.
brilliant.
I mean, obviously, with Tyler Hero started the season not playing as well, you definitely would have, if you hadn't have got Powell in, it might have been those 80, 90 games,
Oh
point
yeah,
games, bro, wouldn't it? You know,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
it'd been
It was
rough, wouldn't it?
much needed, because yeah, Tyler's
Mm.
obviously real shame for him, because he's came back last season
Mm.
with completely available week in, week out. Was brilliant, got his all-star nod. So you really hopes
Yeah.
that with all the Jimmy drama away, that the ball would be, you know, his to pick up now and thrive in it. And yeah,
Yeah.
he's had real issues trying to stay fit and healthy. And
Mm.
I know that happens, but yeah, definitely Norman's helped pick up the baton there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Hero's only played 11 games so far, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's right.
he was out till sort of late November.
Mm.
Came back, played 6 games, and then picked up another injury,
It's,
um,
yeah.
which I think was a hand injury, but I'm not entirely sure, because the first one I think
Mm.
was ankle. And that
Yeah.
was like a weird one, because you know they were sort of saying almost like day to day, and he was out for the best part of another month. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Tough
a
one.
shame, but he's back now. A little bit more, get a bit more rhythm underneath him, and we'd like to see
Mm.
what this, you know, backcourt could look like, because we still don't really know. They've played such little minutes together, and
That's it.
in
Yeah.
theory, that's a pretty potent backcourt there. So we'll see
Mm.
how things work out.
Do you think Powell was brought in to be a starter, or was it? Do you think it was like a bench, a kind of offensive punch off the bench, Dan? Or
I think probably that would have. I think because Spo loves Davian Mitchell, and you need
mm,
that point of attack defense with Wiggins as
absolutely.
well.
Mm,
So I think he would have always maybe liked to have started games with Davian, and that means that because Tyler Hero, although he fills in there, isn't a point guard, and
yeah.
therefore I don't know whether or not that would have. I think that's probably the way that Spo would have lent. Obviously, it naturally became that with Hero being out, Norman stepped straight in, so that fit
Mm,
was quite seamless. But then you've got the point where obviously Norm's seeing maybe a lot more of the ball when he's getting starting minutes.
yeah.
What would the dynamic be when Hero comes back? His usage goes down, his shot numbers go down, etc. And
Mm,
again, at the moment, we're still trying to work that out, because it's only been a few games where they've actually managed to share the court together. But Norman's
yeah.
start has obviously been terrific, and now it's a matter of, well, him juggling maybe matchup by matchup. I'm not even sure whether he'll know whether what is the best way of starting the backcourt, whether it will be
Mm,
Davian and Hero with Norm coming off the bench, or whether he'll
mm,
start some games with Davian Mitchell on the bench. But yeah, it's a
mm.
nice problem to have, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Andrew Wiggins is going to take over the always in trade rumours guy from CJ McCollum, who's now been traded this season. So he's usually the guy who's always in trade rumours, but I think it's Wiggins now, maybe.
Yeah, I
He's
think.
going to.
Yeah, Wiggins. I wasn't impressed with him at all last year.
I think I remember you saying that, Dan. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that it just looked like he was completely uninterested and didn't want to be there. It's like he was still, pissed off about having to move, and it just looked like he was just not in the right environment. But fair play, he started the season well, and he's been consistent without being, you know, dominant or taking over games or game winning. I'm not sure we'd ever expect that from Andrew Wiggins anyway. But he shows up every game. He's never a negative. He can help you on defense as well. His shot, his 3-point shooting has been brilliant this season.
He's
So
averaging 40% from three, bro. So
yeah, really good, really good. So I think even a career high for him, if I remember rightly, seeing that. So yeah, he's been very good. So therefore, where we was almost just get rid of him and we'll take whatever we can as an expiring or something. Now he's got a bit of value. I still think as the Heat aren't going to be doing anything this year. If you can get anything for him, whether it'll be a young player or the dream would be if you could somehow get some sort of first round pick for him. That might be in dreamland a bit, but there'll be teams that might, if they're in contention and they've got that pick available, him on the right team, on a contending team, they might say it's worth it. He's got a 30 million player option next year. We'll see what happens with that. But if there's many teams, I know the Lakers have been linked with him for some time. If someone in and around, contention level say this is the guy we need, there's not many players like him in the league that are available at a high level, and I think if you could get that, then you absolutely do it. So but we'll see. But at the moment, as I said, Heat are doing fine with him, and there's no rush in my point of view to trade him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think when we spoke last time, Dan, it was, we were I was wondering whether you thought the Hero or Bam, could they be, a number one on a team kind of thing, the number one kind of option, A-list guy. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were dubious at the time.
No.
Have you changed your mind now? 12 months on?
Not at all. Not at all. If anything, you lean even further the other way. Neither of them two are anywhere near a number one option. Right. And this is the problem. This is the problem the Miami Heat have got. I mean, don't get me wrong. First of all, Bam Adebayo, I'm a massive fan of him. Always have been. I hate how underrated elite defenses around. Well, not around the league because people know what they're talking about, know his value, but just people in general in NBA. Twitter or whatever social media you want to count, just dismiss how valuable that sort of player is. Having said that, Bam's had a really bad year. There's no disguising it. He's not been very good. He had his own health issues as well, which is unlike him, but he's missed time. But when he's been on offensively, even though I've always said he's never the sort of guy that's going to give you 25 points a game, 30 points a game, he's just not wired that way. It's just frustrating when you know that he's got all the offensive talent there. It's just that it's almost like he hasn't got that alpha mentality in him to do it. It was a shame because last season you saw this 3-point shot emerge. We knew it was never going to be lights out 40-45% sort of thing. That was never going to happen. But at least if you become respectable, if you can get something where you can command respect and get some spacing available, then that's all you can ask because it's another string to his bow. And he did that, and he's still sort of been doing that, although it has dropped off a bit. But it's the constant, is a small forward, so or a small centre, however you want to sort of package him. But his athleticism is unique in the league in that he can obviously we know about his defensive capabilities, but you should still be showing that a lot more on the offensive end. He can take on mismatches on most occasions, and he doesn't do it. So he's had a bad year. I feel a bit for him because he's asked to do everything. He's asked to try and put up, close points a game. He's still got to be your facilitator in situations as well. He's got to anchor your defense. He's got to guard 1 through 5. There's a lot on his shoulders. So he's always needed some more help. And when you look at his front court partnerships over the years, some of them have been, ridiculous. So he's had to do a lot of work. So I do feel for him. But he won't be. He shouldn't be an all-star this year. That's and that's quite crazy in a very weak East. he should be, head and shoulders one of the all-stars. But I'll be very surprised if he is. The problem is with him, and I'll come on to Tyler in a minute, is next year his new extension kicks in where he's going to be getting paid 48, 49 million. And therefore you need to be getting better production out of him than what he's currently showing. Yeah. So with that being said, even though I don't begrudge him the money, I still would do it because, as I said, in my opinion, he's a top 3 defender in the league. And then you've got Tyler Herro. Well, Tyler Herro for me never was a number 1 option. He's a very good player. He's made a great career for himself. He's a Miami Heat draft success. He was an all-star last year. So all these ticks, fair play to Tyler Herro. But a little bit in the Trae Young, LaMelo Ball, these sort of mold of players, you're always going to be seen as a neutral asset when, okay, your job is to get the ball in the basket, fair play. You can do that quite well, but you're giving up just as much the other end. You're a cone on defense. You're one of the most blown past players in the league. And those players, this is why we're seeing these players now getting traded for nothing, because you can't run an offense where you can't run a team as your number 1 player, number 2 player, even when you're getting paid mid 30s to 40 million a year. You can't be having Tyler, who at the moment is getting paid about the maximum that I want him to be getting paid, which is around the low 30s, 31, 32, 33 million. For me, that's about his worth. He's due an extension. People are saying that extension should start beginning with a 4. If that's the case, madness. You've got him on 40 million, say. You've got Bam on 49 million. That's taken up more than half of your cap. If you're going to commit to that, then be prepared for the Miami Heat to just continuously be a playing team, because you're not going to do anything. We'll see where it works. I know Pat Riley's always been a Herro fan, but I would just love to think they're not stupid enough to extend him to that money and still expect to be a contender.
That's the thing now, isn't it, Dan? I think you're either at the top or you need to be at the bottom. Being in this middle now doesn't help, does it? Because you're not getting the draft pick, or a high draft pick, and you're not contending either. So if you're spending the salary, like you say, you pay Hero, you pay Bam, your salary then is a contending team's salary. And if you're not there, then it's kind of not. It's not going to work, is it, dude? Yeah.
It's such a bizarre way of dealing with things, because the Miami Heat have always had the ethos that they will never tank. Okay, and look, from a sporting integrity point of view and from a fan's point of view, I like it. I've always liked it. That's the Miami Heat culture, all of that lot. Whatever the team we put out, they are wired to contend, to compete. Okay, that's great. So you're never going to tank. And Miami Heat have had very good draft success from getting those picks in the middle. If we're not going to be a lottery team, we're in the middle. We're always going to be picking in the middle. It's bizarre, but actually Miami have had some good success from it. Tyler Herro was picked 13, I think. Bam Adebayo was picked 14. Brilliant. Both all-stars, multiple all-stars in Bam's sense. Jaquez Jr., correct me if I'm wrong, someone probably will, I think 19. He's been fantastic this year. He was a Rookie of the Year candidate in his first year, had a slump last year. He's come back with a vengeance this year. Should very much be in the 6th Man of the Year conversations this year. Kel'el Ware, down, I can't remember what we picked him in this year. I think it was 17 or last year, sorry. He's got all the potential to be a very, very good player. So Miami have got this success of drafting in the middle and doing well, and the draft success is great. But if you're not going to tank, then you have to turn these players that you've drafted well and flip them into a star, a number 1 bona fide option. And the most frustrating thing is you get every single star that asks out saying that they want Miami Heat in their radar somewhere, their preferred destination, their list of destinations, everywhere. They'd be open to joining. They'd be interested, all those sort of things. Every star player, you'll find somewhere in those phrases the Miami Heat mentioned. Okay, so then you've now got to make you're not going to get that hump over the hump without those players. You look at all the winners recently; they've all got them. They've all got those number 1 options, those superstars. You've got the trade destination. You've got the market that those players want to go to. So you've got to make your mind up. You can't hold on to them mid players that you've done very well developing and drafting without flipping them to the next guy, to the guy that is going to take you there. And if you're not going to do that, if you value him so much, then you have to tank. because all those players, or you look at all these teams that have,
Yeah.
have spent a year or two down there. Houston, San Antonio, Detroit, OKC, they've all spent a year or two down there. Now look at them. They've either won it or they're contending. Why? Because they built through the draft. And you have to do it that way, because also these players, if you get this number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 pick, they're all going to be obviously exceptional young players, as they have been over the last few years. And now they're on a managed a salary. So you can get that star who's going to be an emerging star like Cooper Flagg, so on, all these players, and still have the room to go and get your, just because I said Cooper Flagg, you Anthony Davis, whatever it may be, to go and get that whilst you're on these managed contracts. Look at what OKC won, the most incredible transition. The fact that they had all of these players, they drafted well, and they obviously hit massively with the Shea trade that allowed this all to start. But it's not rocket science, and these guys in the Miami Heat front office are supposed to be as clued up a front office as you can wish to associate in the NBA. Why are we still a playing team for the year and year and year after? Why? Because they're not doing either. They're not going for the top dog, and they're not tanking. Hence the reason we're a 0.500 team again. Hence the reason why we're going to be a playing team again. Hence the reason why we'll get through the playing and get knocked out in the first round again. And this is what at the moment is infuriating, because we've seen the same thing happen year after year, and everything that they keep saying is, well, we'd rather hold on to that asset, or we'd rather try and clear cap space for free agency in insert year. Well, free agency isn't a thing anymore. What are you doing? It's just it's infuriating.
Yeah, like you say, it's kind of Miami, insert name, insert year, and it's kind of like recycled, bylines, isn't it, and stuff. Which I can sense the anguish in your voice, Dan. I feel your pain, bro.
It's just I just don't get what they're waiting for, what they're doing. What I said. Everybody knows obviously the worst place you want to be is in the middle. And yet Miami have been in the middle for so long, and yet actually done pretty well from it. We've drafted brilliantly. We've developed these players from this team. If you was to redraft a lot of the drafts, Hero, Bam, Ware, Hackers Jr., they'd all be a lot higher than where they were now. They'd probably be, in some cases, top 3, top 4 picks.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of people talking about Hero and Bam in the draft, going, oh, wish somebody should take them, or, but Miami saw something, obviously, that other people didn't. And like you say, that's what they do, isn't it?
That's it. I can't knock that side of it. They're brilliant. They're one of the best. It's just that, but you can see what the problem is. You always said we had Jimmy Butler, even when Jimmy Butler came in, which was a great trade, the first big trade really we'd made for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And you got him for nothing, really. Again, when you look at that, the trade details of that, it was an exceptional win, but he was still brought in to really help you get the next guy. That was almost like he was your number 2. Obviously, Jimmy completely overachieved in that sense, because he became one of Miami Heat's best ever. He could be on your Mount Rushmore of Miami Heat players now in history. That's how much he excelled expectations. And you had the whole thing all through the Jimmy area where you never ever got that guy. You never got that guy to go with him, to help him to get over the hump. You never got the KD. You never got the James Harden. You never got, the Giannis. All these players that were always flirting or in most cases went several times. The Dame Lillard, for example.
You were always rumoured. There was always rumours, Dan, wasn't there? Yeah, like you say.
Even with Dame Lillard actually saying Miami and Miami only. And we still didn't get him. And yet he was asked to do the miraculous with players like Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin, and did. So that's the most frustrating thing, is that it just wasn't enough. And now here we are again. That era's behind us. We'll see what they do. Look, I mean, a lot can happen in the NBA. Trade deadline's less than 3 weeks away. I just don't foresee anything happening. And we'll probably wait for free agency. Insert year 2028 was the last one I heard.
Yeah, it's 2027 Giannis or 2028 Jokic, or just like you say, just insert name and year here. That's your byline,
what world is Giannis, Jokic, any of these players, these superstars, absolute bona fides? what world are they going to go get into free agency? That's just never going to happen. If they get a
Yeah.
year outside their contract and they say, right, we're going to re-sign you, and he goes, no, I'm not interested, he's getting traded the next day because they're going to get
Yeah.
something for him.
Yeah, like you
So
say, the era of those big free agents now hitting the market, Dan,
completely done.
doesn't really occur now, does it? There hasn't
Not
really
at all.
been a big kind of summer free agent move, has they? That
No.
as kind of it's all done in the season, like you say. They come within 12 months. I'm not signing an extension.
Yep.
Then it's
Off they
it's
go.
off, isn't it?
Yep.
Do you feel like Miami are always in the rumors because it's location based, Dan, or is
Well,
it?
maybe. I mean, look. I mean, I feel like I've bashed them a lot there, but the Miami Heat, in terms of a association, they're a bit
Yeah,
like the San Antonio Spurs. You know, everybody
yeah. Oh,
recognises
yeah.
that they're a very
100%, mate. Yeah,
professional outfit. They get the most out of their players.
sure.
Of course, the location. It's a pretty relatively big market. The
Nice place to
location,
live, Dan, I think.
very nice place to live. Zero
Yeah.
taxes. All of that side. Don't get me wrong. Yeah,
Yeah,
that has some sway. But I
of
think
course.
you see any that you don't normally see any player that has got a bit about them. You know, have anything bad to say about Miami as a club, as
No,
a franchise. So
no.
that's why you always see them in the rumours, because they always think that even as a distressed asset or whatever, that's a club, that's a team, a bit like Spurs, where they'll get the most out of them.
And I think it's like the Spurs, if you play for them, you're a Heat for life, aren't you? You kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're always welcome back, and you're always kind of ex-players are always involved. I mean, Alonso Mourning just never left.
No, that's right.
He's still there involved somehow, isn't he?
Now, and that's another thing as well. You know, that stability. I mean, it's still the same front office. Spo's now the longest tenured coach in the league. In fact, the longest tenured coach in American sports.
In
now.
all sports,
Yeah.
all US sports, mate. Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's still this, even down to the fact that it's still the same guys that are doing the play-by-play broadcasting. They've been there since day one. You know, so all of that, there's a lot to be said for that. People, you know, players like that continuity. It shows that they're not rash and firing after months and so on. So yeah, there is a lot to be said for that side of it.
The Miami Heat play-by-play guys, Dan, they're probably in my top 5 in terms of play-by-play guys. I really enjoy if they're on the commentary and stuff, because they kind of tell it like it is, and they're not kind of one-sided. They're very real about, you know, if things, you know, they won't call it out because it's going against Miami. They'll kind of call it like it is, and I like that. There's kind of like that. We'll call it down the middle. We're not biased to our team, you know, whatever. But they're very like, if they're not playing well, they will say it, and I kind of got respect for that.
Everybody obviously will always back their own team, because their own guys that they listen to every single week, and I totally get that. You know, that's tribal, that's homerism, but it is nice where you saying that is something that I hear quite a lot from other people as well.
Oh yeah,
your guys are great. So yeah, Eric Reed and John Crotty, but Eric Reed especially, who's been there from day one, an absolute legend, and obviously one of the proudest things I ever did was share a podcast with him back when I did in my day. So I'll never forget that. So yeah, legend.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. So we've probably kind of answered this, Dan. So, Miami prime for a big move. You've kind of answered that, really, haven't you?
They've been primed for years, but never actually managed to actually have the guts to do it. And it's a frustrating one. I mean, as I said, you've got guys that they deem untouchable, but then won't play them for stretches and things. It's a real weird dynamic. It's a strange one, but when you look at right now, and the question is, are Miami prime for a big move? Now, the Ja Morant one, which obviously again we've been rumored, of course. I don't think we will, and to be honest, I'm not massively fussed if we don't. I don't think it's a particularly sensible move. But on the other hand, what are you doing then? You know, if you're the Grizzlies, and the initial report from Shams was that the Grizzlies are looking to try and take back draft capital and multiple young players, prospects, if you like.
Yeah.
What world are they living in? We've just seen Trey get sold for nothing. We discussed just before we come on air how these score first small guards are just a negative asset now in today's NBA. Ja Morant is a mile worse 3-point shooter at volume in the league. He doesn't
Yep.
drive to the rim anywhere near as much as he used to. Yeah, I
Nope.
think he's, as I said, I think he's a 20% free throw player. Is not available. He's always got issues. The Grizzlies are a lot worse when he is playing.
Mm.
So I think their record is something like 6-14 or something when he's playing, and he's
Yep.
got off-court issues. So we've always had these suspensions and things. There's that little bit of attitude and so on, which is probably never going to go away. Pit that into trading into Miami. You could probably think of couldn't think of a worse place in terms of a location for a player like that to go and live. It would be a
Yeah.
nightmare. However, and he's on a big contract. He's still owed 80 odd million over the next 2 years. So all of that points to no way. Why would you? But the price is going to be, in my opinion, so low that Miami, who are just a mid-range playing team, why the hell not?
Is it worth a punt, Dan? Is it worth a punt?
It's absolutely worth a punt. What are you gonna lose in a year's time if it's not worked out? Trade him as an expiring contract. As long as you're not giving up anything for him, and I honestly, if they get anything of value out of that deal, then fair play to them, because I think they are in for a scare surprise if they think they're going to get value back. You're not going to get anything value back.
No.
This obviously, but there is obviously, anyone who watches basketball and saw what Ja Morant was, there is enough of upside to be able to think, okay, there's a very talented player in there. We saw it. He was destined to be a top, 5-6 player in the league a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah, he had the world at his feet, didn't he? In 21, it was.
Some people were saying he was the face of the league. It's so exciting. It's the human pogo stick. It's just incredible talent. And young, and still all his career in front of him. There's enough. Completely enough upside there to take a risk if the risk is low. So of course, if you wanted to give Grizzlies Terry Rozier's expiring contract, I don't know, Fontecchio or Nikola Jovic or someone like that as a young piece, or not in Fontecchio's case, but a young piece, but expiring money, or one young piece like that I wouldn't be bothered about losing. Absolutely. We're not contending this year, but if you can buy that low and suddenly revive some sort of talent that's hidden in there, absolutely, it's a no-brainer. What are you doing otherwise? We're a playing team regardless. If you do it right, it might help you, but if you don't, all right, what's the point then? So 100%, if it was that low, then I would do it, because then. We've still got these rumors about whether Giannis is going to be going, whether he's going to be staying. It's a real flip-flopping situation there. I mean, we had a week or two before Christmas, Shams reporting that Giannis was going to be asking out. Now suddenly he seems to be U-turning on that a little bit. I don't expect him to be traded this season, but in the off season, who knows? If the Bucks, let's get real, the Bucks are going to do nothing. The very best, they're going to be a playing team. I honestly think Giannis will look at that and go, look, I'm not wasting another year or so of my career here. I want to contend now. He's going to start rowing past his peak. So if you've managed to get Ja Morant for peanuts, and then you can then swing at Giannis and give whatever you can for him, whether that's whatever Arsenal you've got in terms of your draft capital, give it all, 2, 3, 4 first round picks, whatever you can give up, and then give up Tyler Hero, Kel'el Ware, whatever that may be. So you're actually putting together a decent package, and then suddenly you've got your core three as Giannis, Bam, and Ja Morant. Okay, that's a franchise altering way of doing something. So there's the blueprint.
Yeah,
but we'll probably sit there and wait for 2028 free agency and just sit in the play-in, sponsored by Miami Heat.
Yeah. yeah, it's tough, isn't it, man? Well, I think it's a testament to you guys, your organisation, like you say. If Morant did go there, they have, you've got the setup in the organisation to kind of, if it could turn around for Morant somewhere, Miami could be that place, because they kind of set up and out. They just got to handcuff him to a Miami Heat official, basically 24/7, haven't they? Yeah, like, where do you think you're going, kind of thing? You're not. No, not tonight, mate. No, we're good.
Yeah, absolutely. There'll always be that side. It would be a risk in that sense, but not a massive one. As I said, if it doesn't work out, all right, he's owed a lot of money, but it'll be an expiring contract a year later. I mean,
like you say, you're buying so low, Dad, that, like you say, is it worth the gamble? Yeah. I mean, Warriors tried to do this, haven't they? I mean, if you're the sponsors of the playing in the East, the Warriors are the sponsors of the playing in the West, aren't they? Because they've finished in the play-in a lot of seasons now running. And they tried to take a big swing, and they got Jimmy Butler in, and they're in the same place as they were. So sometimes it doesn't work, but you've got to take the big swing, Dan, haven't you? Sometimes
you've got to take the big swing, and otherwise, I just don't know what you're doing. And don't get me wrong, look, if Grizzlies are coming back and going, we want a first round pick, we want Kel'el Ware. I wouldn't even give up Jaquez Jr. I just don't see the point. He's still on a controlled, rookie contract. I'm not getting rid of that to put on 40-odd million of something that might work. But if the cost is that low, if it's costing you Terry Rozier and Nikola Jovic, I'll give it. I mean, that's a no-brainer in my opinion.
You're not a Jovic believer, Dan? Or?
No, not really. No, he's a Swiss Army knife. He can do everything okay, but nothing great.
Master of none.
He's now had his payday. He's getting paid 15-odd million a year for the next 4 years. Look, I mean, that might turn out to actually in a couple of years, if he does fulfill his potential, to be a pretty good contract. But I've never been massively high on him. I know he's still young and he's still learning, but no, he doesn't do anything great to my effect. So I wouldn't mind giving him up. But if you did something like that, and then suddenly you've got Ja Morant coming in, and you imagine him coming in going, I'm now well and truly focused on basketball and basketball only. And he suddenly bought into the culture. And, I know a lot of people dismiss and laugh at the culture, which always makes me laugh because they do that. But then they're always the ones that then will put a distressed asset like Ja Morant and go, what he needs is Miami Heat culture. Well, what one is it? You know what I mean? But if you could get him and suddenly you heard him going, I'm locked in. This is where I want to be. This is the best place for me. Man, that could be a trade for the ages. So it all depends on the cost.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like you say, if the asking price is so low, then why not give it a go and see what happens and take a big swing.
That then helps you in the summer. Say Giannis does go at the end of the season, right? I'm not doing it anymore. I'm out. If you've got Ja Morant there who's locked in, and you've got Bam Adebayo there, and you're now going there as number one option, that top three is as good as anything. You put Giannis, Ja, and Bam there. Suddenly, especially in the East, there you go. You're ready to roll.
Yeah, I personally don't think Giannis is going anywhere, mate. I think he'll stay. I don't think he's the kind of guy I think he's a very loyal guy.
I think he is,
and I just think he'll stay. I don't think he'll go anywhere.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but it all comes down. He always seems like he's always had that hunger to just keep winning more championships. And if he wants to stay in Milwaukee, I mean, I completely applaud the loyalty side of it. But Bucks aren't going to be anywhere near contention for a long time. They've got nothing to build around. Their entire draft capital is gone. They're still going to be paying Dame Lillard $22 million for the next 4 years or whatever it is.
I mean, they're a team who tried a big swing, Dan, didn't it? And that it hasn't worked out for them. And again, now they're in a bit of a state, aren't they? Now,
that's it. And I applaud that you do anything to keep the superstar there. But this is that Giannis really is their last chance to get anything in terms of trying to get a rebuild going. So
I mean, to me, Giannis is still the best player in the conference.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. And so they still have the best player in the conference. Can you get something around him that
that's difficult when you've got
exactly
no draft capital at all, and you're still paying Dame Lillard $22 million for the next 4 years or whatever it is.
And their GM got an extension. I don't know who he knows, but I tell you, unbelievable how he did.
So they're in a mess. So really, as I said, if they want to do anything, their only way of getting that rescuing this now is to trade Giannis, because they'll fetch back obviously a big haul for him.
Who's got the assets for Giannis? How many teams literally have got the assets? Because what's going to be the asking price for Giannis? It's going to be massive, isn't it?
Well,
and who's going to have whatever you've got left that you've given away?
Yeah,
is Giannis in the same place he is now? It's it's him, right. And then
and there's always that thing where maybe the actual what you feel like is worth and what you actually get sometimes doesn't align.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, even like you look at just Miami's, and I'm not saying Miami's best offer would be the best in the league. I'm almost certain it wouldn't. But if you said that Miami could offer, at that point it might be up to 4 first rounders, and then you put Tyler Hero and Kel'el Ware in. You know, that's one a lot of that's all your first round picks that you're going to get. Tyler Herro is an all-star, and Khalil Ware, who's got the potential to be an all-star. You know, so they could do a lot worse.
Yeah, he's getting a bit of flack, isn't he, Khalil Ware, from Spoelstra this last couple of days?
This is why at the moment, Heat Twitter is
on fire,
absolutely on fire because of this. Now, Khalil Ware has his issues, which is he has clearly got all the raw talent there, all of it. He has got potential to be a monster in this league. He's a walking double-double. 7 foot high, still got to put on a bit of muscle, but just gives you ultimate height, rim protection, offensive rebounding. He's got a 3-point shot on him as well. Everything is there to him, and he's still 20 years old or something like that. He's got all
21, mate.
21 years old. So, but Spo has always dug him out for motor issues, and I get that because sometimes players like that need it. They want to unlock his full potential. They might be saying this to him that you have got naturally all the gifts in the modern game that is required. You've just got to want it. You've got to want it because it's not going to come to you. If your motor's not there, your desire's not there, then you're not going to reach your potential. And I totally get that. But I've never seen a player coached by Spo where there's such a short leash. If it's like one thing I don't see that I like, yanked, off he goes. And then not only yanked, when you see players like Nikola Jovic, all right, Hackers has had a really good season, but last year was terrible. But they get this room to be able to work through their mistakes. And if they have a terrible game, it's like, oh, there's an arm around you. Don't worry. We can see what you're doing. It just didn't fall for you this week. Next game, you're given another 25 minutes and so on. Where it's like last night, he played 9 minutes against the Celtics. And
didn't play in the second half, did he?
Didn't play him in the second half.
No.
We had a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and we got butchered off the boards and lost the game. So that's why the Heat Twitter are sort of aflamed at the moment, because not only that, where he's yanked, but then Spo goes into the press conferences and says, this is what I didn't like about him. This is why I'm not giving him a chance. And this is what he's got to do about it because he's going backwards. That's pretty much what he said. And you think, blimey, Spo, like, I mean, not for me to ever question, in my opinion, one of the best.
In Spo we trust, Dan, still, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'll never not. But you think, oh, is that really the best way to deal with a 21-year-old, to go publicly in on him again and again? So he's getting some flack at the moment, and I can sort of see why.
Yeah, I think with Spo, he'll know what he needs to do to get Khalil where he needs to be. And he must think this is the way to do it because, like you say, this could go really badly very fast, couldn't it? You call somebody out in public like that, and some players react differently, don't they? Some kind of go inward, or some others come out and go, right, well, I'll show you, like. And he must think that's how he needs to coach him. But obviously, players need to be coached differently in different ways, don't they, Dan?
Yeah, to be fair, this has happened several times before, and Khalil was often asked about it. What do you think about Spo's comments on this, that, and the other? And he is being the professional about it, going, this is what I need to do, and I can take the criticism, and I can take the constructive, what I've got to do. He has UD in his ear as well all the time, saying, look, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. You have Bam reminding him every day that he's 7 foot tall and so on. So he obviously, they can all see the potential, and I get that. But it feels like it's every week, and you just feel like, at some point, you've got to start thinking: are you actually now damaging his confidence because it's a very public execution almost?
Yeah, you're not taking his arm round him, taking him to the side, or you're going, Luke, mate, this is what we want from you.
That's
like you say, doing it in public is a risky move, mate. But Spo, he's been there and done it, mate, hasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. And look, I'll never question him. He's the GOAT from my point of view, but it's it's a risky one, and as I said, it's annoying because Miami have always, for a long time, lacked that sort of rim protection, that height. We always seem to be getting butchered, especially off offensive boards and so on. And last night we fell apart because of it. And yet you've got this raw talent there. And by the way, that guy was balling out a month ago. He was hitting 20 and 10, 20 and 10, 20 and 10 every single night. So I hope it gets sorted out because there's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of promise there.
Yeah, I think Spoelstra said, didn't he, in the press conference after the Celtics game, Khalil was having good days and good days. Now he's racking up bad days and bad
Yeah,
days. I think that's kind
exactly
of
it.
how he
Yeah.
put it, didn't he? Just paraphrasing Dan kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
that's
that's pretty
exactly
much what he said, didn't he?
Yep.
For me, mate, if he's on at you, that means he's trying to unlock something in you that probably you don't even know. I'd be
Yep.
worried if he wasn't talking to you at all.
Yeah,
That's kind of how I'd go with it, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. No, fingers crossed it works out all right. But because also, even as a worst case situation, obviously I want him on my team. I think he's got all the potential there. But what you also want is him playing well, because if that's the chip that gets you the star, you want to be able to place high on him. You don't want his value low, and at the moment he seems to be getting knocked down. So
is that Spolster's way of like, I don't want him go, so I'm down in his stock a bit. Like, I don't know. I've been told, Ware might be on the way out. No, I'm keeping that guy. I don't know, but like you say, don't question Spolstra in his in his coaching or whatever he's doing. But I'm sure he's got a plan for him long term, Dan, definitely. So, can you sum up, Dan? How do you think the season's going to end for the Heat? Are we going to be in the play-in again, or can we make a run of it? How do you think? How do you think it's going to end for you guys?
Before this season started, as I said we'll be exactly where I expect us to be, which is hovering around 500. I did think maybe we would escape the play-in this year. I thought maybe we'd sneak into 6th place because of really how many bad teams there were.
Yes.
But I thought there was enough there to try and get that done. But if we were 7, 8, 9 or whatever, I wouldn't have been surprised. That wouldn't have been a major shock to anybody. The whole thing for me was just to actually have a team that was leaning towards a bit of youth and to try and have some fun with it. Without any high expectations. It's a shame, because even though we are exactly on par of where I said we would be, it's just a shame how things have sort of downturned and how the season seems to now be trending because of that promising start, that fun, athletic, fast start that we made. It actually made you think, blimey, we're not a million miles off for anybody in this league, and we'd actually give anybody a game here. But now it just seems to be trending back the other way to just being hovering around the 0.500. Which is exactly what I said we would do. So where will we finish this year? Yeah, probably 7, 8, I would guess. We'll come through the play-in, because we always come through the play-in. We'll end up with either the 1st or 2nd seed, and at best we'll probably take a game off of them in the 1st round, and that'll be that. Another season chalked off that's wasted.
You'll just play the Celtics again, don't you? That's just what you do, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the thing as well. Like the Celtics, blimey. I mean, we can talk about culture, and it's a bit of a dig, really, and it's a bit of a slap in the face to the Heat culture that we used to do exactly what the Celtics were doing. I mean, the Celtics without their star, yes, Jaylen Brown, exceptional player. Derek White, one of the best role players. Well, he's not, in my opinion, he's better than a role player now. He's exceptional. But that was it. That was all they had. I mean, I had them really at sort of 10th before a ball was bounced this season, because I just thought, where's the wins going to get racked up from? But there they are, doing what they do with these players that they brought in. Peyton Pritchard doing exceptional stuff, sitting there with 10, 11, 12 games above 500, 3rd in the East. They could. I mean, I don't know whether or not Tatum is actually expected to come back this year, but if he starts playing basketball by the end of March, they could go and bloody win it. Couldn't they?
He was on the bench, wasn't he, the other night, Tatum? And people are talking, Dan.
If he can get a month's worth of basketball in him, that might be a bit tight before the playoffs start. They could go and make a serious charge. And as much as I hate Boston, fair play to him, man. Fair play.
Yeah, done a really good job, haven't they? Without obviously losing your best player, you look where the Pacers have gone. Yeah. And then you look at Boston. Boston are the same as what they were with losing arguably their best player. Which is an amazing job. But I think the East's wide open, Dan, isn't it? You looked at it at the start of the season. I was like, man, this it's anybody's here. Really.
And that's the frustrating thing before this little slump. And we're now also about to go. We've got OKC next, and then we go out, and then we go out west after that. Although going out, we've actually got a pretty soft West run. I think we've got like Trailblazers, Kings, Jazz, Warriors. So there's a few easier West games, but you're going to come back from that at best still at 500. And And so you end up exactly where in the middle of the playing, probably going to get one of those big guys, one of the, the Knicks or the Celtics again, and that'll
Yep.
probably be the end of your season. But it's just frustrating because before that downward trend, we was there or thereabouts. We sort of there was like at one point there was like a game separating sort of second or third all the way down to seventh or eighth, and you thought, well, the Heat are well in the mix there, but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. They're starting to end up a bit of a gap starting to widen a bit now. But yeah, you're right. The Heat, the East is anybody's that wants it this year.
Yeah. Which team from the East have you seen this year that you were pleasantly surprised who Miami have played
I
down?
mean, the obvious answer is the Pistons, even though I did predict
Yeah.
them to be good this year. I did have them. I think I had them about, I think before the season started, I seeded them about fourth from memory. So I
Yeah.
had them to be good, but
Mm.
obviously they've been excellent. I mean, such a well-rounded team, very fun.
Yeah.
Excellent defense as well. They're looking really good. Obviously, the Knicks are still the team that I'd least like to face in a 7-game series.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got the most well-rounded and obviously a bit more veteran presence there to be able to maybe guts out a tough series than maybe what the Pistons would do, for example. And to be honest, the Raptors have got to give them a shout out. I mean, they've looked really good. The only thing that maybe they'll struggle with is once they're starting five, after you get that starting five, which is as good as most in the league, it then starts to thin out a bit. So they're only an injury or so away from maybe their season sort of collapsing a little bit. But I root for them. They're an exciting team. And the Sixers are going to be, if they can get it together and they can stay healthy, I mean, that could be a scary team.
Yeah.
So as we've said, the East is there to be taken by any of that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because at least 4 teams in the West will blitz them.
Yeah, that's me. It's going to be rough.
It is, though, isn't it? I mean, as much as the East is sort of exciting that it's so wide open, it could be anybody's that wanted to take it seriously. There's at least 4 teams in the West that would just go, yeah, there's a sweep there.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. West is a bloodbath, mate. I'll tell you. I'll let you know that, Dan. West is an absolute bloodbath, dude. Like the games come thick and fast, and they're like, can't see a win in the next 5 or 6 games, and it's rough. It's rough out there, mate. There's some quality teams, but the East, I kind of think of like the English Championship. Any team can beat anybody on any night, and it's here, there, and everywhere. You can't kind of get a hold on it like.
It's fun. I actually think the East is quite a fun conference, but from a talent point of view, as I said, I mean, obviously the Celtics at full health would be a dominant force, but they're not full health. The Knicks are well equipped to go and give anybody a series, but in terms of if you did a 1 to 30 list, I mean the West is taking probably 12 of those 15 spots.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. It's rough, like you say. Bucks aren't even in the play-in at the moment. 17 and 24. It's rough for the Bucks. Yeah. So Doc Rivers strikes again. It's another good job there. But So what was I going to mention to you, Dan? Oh yeah, the Miami Vice jerseys were back this year, Dan. I'm sure you're very happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they don't. It's so not only so well revered around the Heat fan base, they absolutely adore them, and why wouldn't they? But even people in the around the association quite recognise it as the best jerseys ever. You just think, well, why not just bite the bullet now and just put them in your rotation? They're such a classic. Just make them a staple. Drop one of the icons or statements or whatever, and just have that one because it's such a hit and such a fan favorite. So I was pleased to see them back.
Yeah, it seems like your kind of association icon and statement all stay the same, and then you just alternate your city one. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, that's it. And when we had that series, because you had the original Vice, the Vice Knights, the Vice Sunset, and then the Vice Mishmash, all of them were lovely. And then they tried to go over to these Heat culture jerseys, which were absolutely abysmal. And that's why they
You
just
can't,
go, right,
you can't hit them every time, Dan, can you?
you can't hit them every time.
You've got to have,
They
you've
are
got to have
giving
a bit
you
of
free
a,
gigs.
you've got to have a bit of a clanger in there somewhere, haven't you?
That's right. And they bought the throwback ones in the back as well, which were brilliant. I love those as well. But yeah, the Vice jerseys are just making part of the rotation.
Keeping updating the collection then, Dan. I know you have
Yeah,
a
I
few.
think the last time, I think I might have hit 40 now. I think might be
Nice.
30, 38, 39, might be 40. But yeah, I bought a couple new ones recently when I went over there. So yeah, it's still adding to the collection and diminishing my bank account.
Absolutely. Keep bringing more things out. Oh no, gonna have to
Yeah,
get that one too. And
we might not have a good team, but we look good. Yeah.
yeah, look good doing it, bro. Look good
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So last kind of thing before we head out, Dan. You do something every year called the Culture Cup.
The Culture
Now,
Cup.
I wasn't sure really what this was, and I had a look, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. If you want to kind of tell the folk what is the Culture Cup, it's something you do annually.
It is fun. I mean, at the best of times, no matter whether we're winning or losing, Heat Twitter is always a mess. There's always arguments. There's always civil war. There's always a bitching backwards and forwards about how things should be going and why aren't we doing this. And it's quite, to be honest, quite off, basically discussing everything I've just laid out over the last hour. So some of it's got, fundamental substance to it. But the Culture Club is basically a bracket tournament where we pit the most prominent and respected, I suppose, accounts within the Miami Heat Twitter
universe.
Universe. And it's just a bracket, and it pits them together, and a winner goes from through the rounds to eventually you get a final. And it's the only time in the year, it lasts about 2 weeks, where literally the whole community comes together and has real fun with it. And it is real fun.
Yeah.
Everybody gets involved. I did it as a laugh and not expecting really much to come of it, and it absolutely blew up. It's something that everybody always asks for and looks forward to.
Yeah.
So it comes up. I always do it straight after trade deadline, so we get all of that out the way, and then first end of the first week of Feb, the 2026 edition will come on. But it is brilliant. It's good fun. I mean, we get people, some of the top guys who've got like quite big following. They call the banter and the back and forth, and they start calling in favors from celebrities. And can you retweet this for us? Because I'm trying.
Wow.
And it's just great. And it really does. It is a highlight of the calendar. So that'll be coming up soon. And,
how did you come up with the idea, Dan?
Well, actually, it was the Miami Marlins, which is obviously Miami's baseball team.
Yeah.
I saw somebody doing it through their universe, their community. And again, it always got a good reaction. I used to join in with himself and voted through our likes and so on. And I thought, well, maybe that might work with the Miami Heat. So I asked permission, can I take your idea and do it? He doesn't do it anymore. He did it for about 5 years and then decided to leave it. And he said, yeah, of course. I actually always wondered if somebody would do a Heat version. So yeah, please do. So I borrowed the idea off of him. And as I said, it really did take the community by storm, and it's good fun. So I host that every year. It always blows up well. And other people I've seen from other teams have also now started to introduce it and copy it. So I even had the NBA Central account ask if they could do it. So the NBA Central account messaged me about a year ago and said, "I really like that. Would you mind if I'd done it?" And I said, "Yeah, cool." But he ended up not. I don't know why. He just decided not to. But, so that was quite cool. But yeah,
it's a classy move, though, Dan. Ask before you kind of just jump in. That's what it's about, isn't it? Just going.
If you're not going to invent something yourself or think something up, and you like the idea, it's just courteous, because he might have said, no, that's my thing, and I'd rather you didn't, and I would have been, no problem, cool. But it's always the way to do it. It's just courtesy.
Yeah. Am I right? There was 90,000 votes in last year's. Is that correct? Or?
Yeah, something like that. I'd have to look through it again. But it was. I think the impressions went into about 10 million last year, which was
that's amazing, bro.
Quite fun. But there was. I think the final was something around that. I think actually the year before was even more. It was about 120 odd thousand votes in the final. Good, just good fun.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Love that, man. That's like you say, bringing everybody together instead of tearing each other apart a bit. Bring them all together, kind of as one, rather than tearing each other to shreds with the trade ideas or whatever, man. That's decent, mate. That's good of you, man. But so are there any thoughts about bringing your podcasts back, Dan? I know you used to do the pods now and again.
I occasionally think about it, but it's such a commitment. I mean, you do your own one and have done for many years, which is great. And it's especially my ties really we're with various people in the organization and that cover the team and so on. They was always great for me. That's what I loved about it most is, I didn't care about numbers and audience and so on. I just enjoyed sort of feeling a part of that family, like I was in that umbrella, and they was great with me. They always put their arm around me and said, whenever you want, we'll do something. So it was just nice to feel like I was the other side of the globe, but still in that Heat family. That's what drove me on to do it rather than listing figures and so on. I just enjoyed it. But with that, obviously, you have to, especially for these sort of people that are professionals and so on, trying to get the calendars synced, time difference, research, then loading it, adding graphics and all that sort of. It was as much as I love doing it, and I did love doing it, and I cherished some of the people that I've spoken to. Yeah, I just haven't got the time or the what it deserves to be put into it. So as much as I do like it and would always every now and then think about it, I think my my heating up the UK days are over.
Wow, that's sad to hear, Dan. Because I think at one point you were doing you were jumping on pre-game before every game. At one point, is that right?
Yeah. So when I had my little UK team, that was brilliant. Love those guys as well, and I miss talking to them. That was we used to go on and do a quick pre-game show and have a quick chat about the matchup and who we've got and where we went wrong last time and what we think is going to be the keys to winning this game and so on. And they used to also join me for weekly podcasts. Then I'd get one of my guests from the States to jump on with me. So it was full time really. It was 6-7 days a week every week, and that was also in the days when I used to stay up and watch the games all the time. So not only am I watching the games till the early hours in the morning, getting 3 or 4 hours sleep, then going to work, then coming back, and then trying to sort out the media podcast side of it. It was just too much. Someone from my age now, it's a young man's game.
It's a labour of love, Dan, isn't it? That's a definite, isn't it? It's a labour of love, man. Yeah, you need an unpaid intern to do all the social media stuff and all stuff like that. Yeah,
but no, I absolutely loved it. And some of the things we did, when the Heat got to the finals against the Nuggets, we organised a live watch along there at the early hours of the morning in London at the casino in Leicester Square, and close to sort of 70-80 people turned up, and that sort of thing was just that's what I look back up so fondly. So cherish the days, but they are behind me.
More important things to do now, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when it's a mediocre team as well. It's not even a team to get excited about.
Now if Miami get back to getting back to the upper echelon of the East, could there be a comeback, Dan?
Yeah, Ja Morant and then Giannis Antetokounmpo, then we are back, baby.
We are back. I can see the word. I'm back. That's it. Full stop. Done. I'm back. Let's go. But thanks a lot for dropping in, Dan. It was a pleasure to have you on as always, mate. You're becoming a staple now to the Shooters Lounge, mate. It's an annual thing now, dude. So
always good to talk to you, mate. So anytime.
Sound. So do you want to tell the people where they can follow you before we head out, Dan?
Yeah, so I'm mainly just on Twitter. In fact, I am just on Twitter now, or X. Sorry, keep calling it Twitter. And I am. My handle is at the Miami Heat UK. Most of my tweets are just sarcasm. One day I'm absolutely all for this team, and we're going to make the finals. The next day I'm fire everybody, and so very overreactive. But that's what as I said, my stuff is not normally any sort of X's and O's and a serious debate and so on. It's basically what I tweet is basically what I think Twitter should be for, which is just to have a bit of fun. It's overreactionary. It's fanism, if you like. We're all fanalists, so that's where I put myself. So if you want to follow me, do so, because it's just it's just me having a bit of fun and being a bit sarcastic.
Absolutely. Go give Dan a follow, guys, at the Miami Heat UK. His passion comes through in his tweets every day. So, yeah, go give him a follow, guys. But it's good to have you on again, Dan. We'll have to have you on again soon, hopefully. Maybe if Miami make it through round one, who knows?
We'll see you next season then.
But a pleasure again, mate. Thanks a lot for taking the time.
No problem at all, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, man. So I'm Matt at PostUp323. So you'll be able to rewatch this on YouTube, guys, and listen or watch on Spotify or listen to it on Apple or wherever you get your podcasts. So check out for the socials on that, guys, at Shooters Lounge 3. So we'll be back again maybe next week, guys, with another podcast with some more guests. So stay tuned for that. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care.